up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. No more backwards thinking. Time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. There's so much hatred, war and poverty.
Welcome to the True Forum, a forum to discuss in a friendly surrounding like we do at home at the kitchen table. I'm your host, Dr. Smith. I will be leading compelling, relatable, and honest conversation. My guests will range from community leaders, professional, and real people whose story will touch and inspire you. Discussion will center around relationships, real stories of personal struggles, and amazing triumphant. Compelling topic in the news and things that capture pop culture and our city and our nation's attention. If you would like to be a guest on the kitchen table, you can call our office at 269-962-5553. You can also, on the screen, email us at kingdombuildersworldwide2@gmail.com or the internet, Kingdom Builders Worldwide. Before I introduce my guests on the panel, I also have guests in the audience. I have my lovely wife for close to 30 years, Nicole Angelique Smith. All right. And then also I have Deacon Doug Jones, which also will be speaking with us and sharing some of the great ideas. Again, the vision of this program is to catalyze, energize, and bring things together, bring people together, bring the community together. I want to share, and I'm going to share some extremely important things. Again, if we're going to be successful, we have to work with each other. We have to connect with each other and do things together. Reawakening our minds, reawakening our thought process so we can become great not only in this world, but in the kingdom. For our prayer is always, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Well, today, I'd like to introduce to you again at the kitchen table, my beloved, lovely wife, Nicole Angelique Smith, and Doug Jones. Let's give God a praise for all of them. All right, well, today we're going to, as you all know, if you've been following us in the World Wide Web, we are in the process of purchasing Southeastern Middle School, the Church Kingdom Builders Worldwide. We came here, my wife and I, a little over a year ago. I worked at Federal Express. My father passed away. And I just really wanted to be back home in the city of Battle Creek while my mother is still thriving and doing excellent. That was really my intent. Let me ask my wife, honestly, what was your feeling, Nicole, when I told you or when I shared with you, I felt it was time to go back home? I don't have the Michael Jackson song, going back to Indiana, but going back to Michigan. Nicole, tell us, what did you think about when I made that decision, hey, it's time for us to go back home? I don't think I know you should be honest.
Actually, I was really excited. I was really excited to come back home, to connect with family and friends, and I knew that was always a possibility. And something that you'd always desire was to be back home. So yeah, I was definitely excited about being back.
Good. Now we're at the kitchen table, so we're gonna just be very comfortable and very relaxed. When I made that decision, I had a few phone calls. I called a few people, and Doug, you were one of the ones I called. What was your reaction? What was your thought process? Where were you at that moment in your life when you received the call from me?
I hadn't been active in the church in quite a while. when you called to say you were coming back home, it did something to me. I was excited about it, and I was looking forward to it. And I said, whatever it is that you need me to do, I was willing to do. And not just because you are a friend, but you are a cousin. And I just had a lot of love for. We had a close relationship.
Yeah.
When you were here years ago, and I knew that you would be back one day. I just didn't know when.
Good.
So.
Well, before we talk more about our program, we want all of you all to know that you can ask us questions. There's been a lot of people that have been asking, well, what are you going to do with the Southeastern School building? Many have said it's so big, and are you going to be able to fill the space? So we're going to share some things, and you can always just ask us on the website or Facebook, and then our engineer will respond to me and let me know that you're asking questions. But the first thing that was in my heart was, how we want to train the hopeless. How did we become a hopeless people? And I got my notes here, and I was asked the other day about the importance of hope and self-confidence when it comes to achieving our goals in life. I found out that a lot of people have goals. Unfortunately, many people have not achieved their goals, and so therefore, that was one of my desires. If I'm going to come back, I didn't just want to be the traditional pastor or preacher that I was 20-some years when I was actually in Indiana. I wanted to deal with the actual issues. Many of us don't understand how, for many years, black people were trained and bred to be hopeless. I mean, that was just a reality. They were unhappy about their existence. And the problem is that when you're hopeless, when there's hopelessness, that's a gateway drug. What it does is it opens the doors to laziness or unfocused lack of effort. And I guess one of my major things is that many people have been hopeless, and we really want to try to fix the hopelessness in Battle Creek. Doug, you obviously been here longer. My wife and I, we moved back in '89. Do you see a sense of hopelessness at all? And if I got a question, I'll just look at my engineer and I'll point to her, and then she would ask a question. So just give me a minute. But Doug, do you sense any hopelessness at all that have taken place?
Yeah, I think there's a degree of hopelessness in Battle Creek. And it's like an epidemic. It's in the whole country. But because I live here in town, of course, I do see it firsthand. When there is no hope, like you stated earlier, people get lazy, okay. And there's no drive, no desire. Okay. And unfortunately, a lot of our youth are in that in that area. Okay.
Our Facebook Live must have went blank, so we're going to have to just go ahead and just continue on the program here live. It's just spinning. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to communicate with the live audience. So let's continue to talk. So Nicole, you are a graduate of Battle Creek Central. Tell us about your story. Tell us something about you. A lot of people know Bishop Tino Smith. They know Bishop Hugh Smith. They even know my sister, Dr. Sherelle Smith, my brother DeJuan Smith. They even know Sister Letha Smith. But a lot of people didn't really know who you were and who you are. Let the world know who has been married to me for all these years. Who are you?
Well, I'm obviously born and raised here in Battle Creek, Michigan. I graduated from Battle Creek Central High School in 1988. I went to Washington Elementary School and WK, junior high. I was raised by my mom, Donna Simmons. Many people know her because everywhere I go, that seems to be like, you're Donna's daughter? So anyway, my mother's name is Donna Simmons, and my father, who passed away, his name was Rico. We left here in 1989, and we had a ministry in Terre Haute, Indiana. We have our 2 children, Tino and Brianna. Modest modest home. Grew up at Battle Creek, Bethlehem Temple. Is my home church where we used to attend back in the day.
Okay. You ever get back on? Oh, okay, it was probably. So, well, you know, DJ, this is a question that I know I would have got a lot of attention on Facebook Live, but you know, those that's watching us and will see this service, how money ruin relationships. And I know that this is a program for all people, but I am counseling couples. My wife and I have been married now close to 30 years. I believe couples need to ensure that they are financially compatible with their partner. Too many couples don't learn the importance of understanding financial interactions until it's too late. You don't have to speak on the personal concept, but as a deacon in the church, and as we pursue financial gain, and as we pursue helping couples grow together, what is your take on that whole concept about couples having a financial compatibility? What is your take on that? And then Nicole, you do the same thing. You know, how you feel couples need to be financially compatible as you deal with that subject.
Well, it's I think the stats will show that one of the number one reasons for couples marriages not working is financial reasons. It's financial. Money's always an issue. To be compatible, it's a team. You have to work together. Whether the husband is making more than the wife or vice versa, you know, you have to work as a team. I know there's friends of mine who the man and the woman are both working, and they still have separate accounts, you know. And quite honestly, for some people that works. For a lot of people it doesn't work. You don't know, you know, where the money is going and who's doing what. But I think in order for you to be compatible, I think you have to join that together. In my opinion, it has to be a joint account. Too many secrets, too many things happen when you have, you know, separate accounts, you know, and then if something happens and you need money to fix a furnace or a car repair, or when it's time, you know, to buy something for the kid, you know, who does that? Where does the money come from, you know? Too many surprises happen when you have, you know, Harry doing this and Betty doing that, you know. But when you're in the kingdom, or when you're in God, and the principle of tithes is very important, God will open up doors for you and help your finances. I mean, I think that's probably the number one solution to couples and individuals that seek to be out of a financial situation. You know, you have to make sure that you give God his 10%. Because he will open the doors for you. So.
Okay. Nicole, what is your take on that? I know a lot of couples that's married, and I know families, first families, we call them first families in the church, whatever the term is. A lot of wives don't work. A lot of wives do work. A lot of preachers work for the church. We've always had jobs, but you know, what's your take on that whole concept of economic goals working together, or your experience, the way we raised our home, raised our family?
Yeah, I believe like what DJ said here is that the families or husband and wife need to work together. I feel that whatever works for that family, I mean, it could be the husband might be in charge or the wife might be in charge, whoever works best. For me, in my experience, I would say that you would have to be in charge because I'm more of the spender. You know, so you being in charge of it is more economical for us because, you know, I might spend it and don't even know where it went. So it all depends on the personalities and working together and who's best at managing and who's best at paying this or who's best at you know, whatever works for their in their home.
So as we continue to talk about these financial literacy, because we really want to try to help our community with so many subjects, back to Southeastern, you know, a lot of people has been having discussions, questions about what we're going to do with the church or what we're going to do with the building. But then there's individuals who've joined the team, and I would like to know their reason. I have one in the audience. His name is William Howard. I knew him as a young man, and I actually saw him at a workout facility. And ever since then, we've been together. I'm going to ask you, Howard, tell us, what inspired you to be a part of this? Why are you a part of this? And what do you see the school and the church and the building, how that can really help our city and help you and your family?
Well, I believe I'm a part of it because it was a calling to me. Because I stepped down from the church a while ago because of certain circumstances. And when I seen you at the gym, it was a calling. How it's benefiting me and my family is teaching my kids to have morals in God and morals as individuals in this community and be examples. Because when people see them and what they're doing in this community, it's going to make, to me, children follow in their lead too. And coming into Southeastern, there's so many opportunities that's going to be arising up at this school. And one of the biggest things is a gym facility and a facility to teach young men the circumstances to do and what not to do, to stay off these streets, to stay from going in and out of jail, to stay from going to prison, as I've done myself. And to me, that's very beneficial because I have a lot of input and I have a lot of things that I can benefit from and benefit the others into this church and this new building that we're going to be into.
Okay, you just scoot the chair up. That's all you got to do. I'm going to go ahead. I'm now talking about networking, and networking is we're going to go back to the audience with Callie. And that question is, Callie, I noticed you really try to connect with everybody. In the past, what's the relationship with churches, and what can we do to get all of us together and not get so caught up in our doctrine or our beliefs, but just having a common goal? Callie, you've always been the type to just try to love everybody. What could the church and the school building and the ministry bring to the community that maybe is not developing right now? That whole thing of bringing people together, no matter who they are, what they've been through, where they came from. What would be one of the tasks that you would like to see happen as one of the leaders in the ministry?
Well, for me, I believe that love is an action word. A lot of times people just use the word I love you and they're not really showing love. So I think that if we continue to show love, because everybody needs and wants to be loved, so I believe that if we continue to show love and represent the love of Christ, which is needed all over the world, but definitely in the city of Battle Creek, just to continue to show love and represent the love of Christ.
Okay, thank you. Now back to the table here with DJ and my wife Nicole. Nicole, you are tell us about your education with school, your degree with children, how long you've been involved, and we're going to talk more about the programs with our youth and how we want to try to benefit our community and our city and even our county and state.
Well, I started out working daycare when we were in Terre Haute. We had a daycare center there, and the lady who ran it, she left. So then I was nominated to take over the daycare. I was so scared. I just remember oh my God, what am I doing? I had never done it before. But anyway, I jumped in there and I ran the daycare and ended up loving it and been doing it ever since. So I ran the daycare in Terre Haute for about 12 years or so, 12, 13 years. And then we moved to Indianapolis and I worked for another facility. And when I was there, I worked on my bachelor's degree. So I ended up getting my bachelor's degree in early childhood education and with a minor in special education. So that's just what I do, and I believe that, we need to have a facility and a place where we could teach children, not that they play all day, but we have a curriculum to where they can grow and learn and be successful in their life. A place that's affordable, a place where parents can drop their kids off and know that they are safe and well cared for.
And what I want everybody to know, and again, this is why one of the Facebook Live is so important, so system differently, but this would be so helpful. My wife, and there's going to be a separate show about the diagnosed with cancer. She actually was dealing with treatment, and she was going to school every time she had a little energy. But she had that commitment. And of course, we're going to have a program that's going to talk strictly about this whole cancer survival. But she was literally dealing with cancer, taking a course at a time. And how many years did it actually take you?
To finish school?
Yeah.
Probably around 7 years.
It took her 7 years. But I'm showing you about the consistency, the stability, the endurance, the longevity. Success is not so much about how hard you fall or even if you fall, but how you continue going forward. And family witnessed this. There are times when she has a bachelor in child education?
Early childhood.
Earth's a private giant. Let's give God a praise for that. That's a private giant. So those are things that we want to share in our community. We're not here. Many times I get the conversation that, you don't understand how tough life is, but everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. And unless you walk in other people's shoes, you would never really know. But you don't get in this position without paying the price. You do not get in this position here. Sometimes we look at this seat as power and luxury. But no, there's a whole lot of pain and sweat with this chair. And I think that's important. And anybody who, I'm not a fan of TD Jakes. I'm not a fan of Crefto Dollar. I'm not a fan of Joe Olsen. But whatever people's feeling about those people, they didn't get there overnight.
Right.
They went through something to get there, and that's just a reality. And that goes for everything, whatever you do. But preparing our kids for the future, DJ, I know you have children, but you also have some grandchildren. Mm-hmm. And one of the most important things for us to do as a community is to prepare our children for the future. All of us in this room have children. And so my question would be, with you that's dealing with the internet or you that's in the audience, what would be one of the things our ministry could do to prepare our children for the future? And then I would maybe chime in on that. So what are some things you feel, DJ, is needed or you would like to see we do to benefit things such as helping our children, such as your grandchildren, in the future?
I think that one of the most important things is teaching the kids some discipline. Everything starts at home, but there are some things that you can do outside the home, bring them to church and bring them to Kingdom Builders. It takes a village to raise a child. It's not just what happens in the home, it's what's outside the home too. And with my grandson, I tell him to do things sometimes, not because I want to see him do it. I want him to get used to listening and doing things the right way. Not everything is about, for instance, he comes out of a room and he leaves the light on, and I won't turn it off for him. I'll go tell him to go turn it out. There's little itty bitty things that, or even I'll say, turn the light out for your sister. She left it on. She's 5, and he's 9. This is your little sister. You're the big brother. So you need to make sure that she's doing things the right way. When I'm not around and when your mom's not around. So I try to train my grandson to think outside of the norm, do things outside of what he's used to. He loves his Xbox, he loves his phone, he plays it all the time. And I'll make him get off of it. I'll tell him, I said, hey, you get another 45 minutes and then you're done. He said, well, Mom said I can play it a little bit longer. I said, well, I said you can't. So just, not to be mean, but I want him to get used to respecting authority and doing the right thing. Is it going to hurt you to shut it down a little bit early tonight? No, it's not, So it's about training his mind. And so we have to get kids to think like that. It takes more than just his mom to raise him, and his dad. It takes grandparents and everybody else too.
Thank you. I'm getting ready to, one of the most important things for us to do as a community is prepare our children for the future. There's a great topic regarding how we discipline our children. And I have some adults here, but, from a Bible perspective, we were always taught, spare the rod, spoil the child. But now you, dear, the way the educational system is taught, what do they actually teach about punishment?
Well, they feel that children should be able to make their own choices. So if a person does something wrong, or if a child does something wrong, they feel that they should be redirected, not really told no. Give them an option that you can deal with. You would say, if little Johnny wants to go outside and play, you can tell him, well, this is what we can do. You could stay over here in your room and play, or you can come over here and eat your breakfast, whichever choice that you can deal with and let them choose.
So the word is redirected.
Redirect them.
Okay, so let's go to the audience. I want to ask this question. William and Callie, were you guys raised being redirected, or you guys were raised with the rod, and what was the fruits of it?
I was raised with the rod, the switches, the rooms, the hands, whatever was closest. And I don't think it was too much harm done. Some emotional scars probably, but I'm still here. And I'm
so did it work? According to my wife, she's saying
yes and no.
Okay.
My mother disciplined me a little different than my father did. I think that my father's method, it worked. My mother's, no.
Okay.
My mother went a little bit overboard, I think, at times.
Okay. So I'm gonna come back. So William, what about you? Were you redirected, or were you, disciplined by the rod?
I was raised by the rod, and when I got older and it started becoming a redirection, I think that's where it kind of failed at, because once you start getting redirected, you think you can make your own choices and do what you want. And that's when I really started thinking that, okay, well, I'm not getting disciplined, I'm not getting the rod no more, they're giving me an ultimatum, I'm just going to do what I want.
So you were young enough to experience the redirected side, I'm assuming. Okay. So give me an example of what it means to be redirected.
Well, you had a choice, either you can either, like we had video game systems, so you can either do what you told to do, or I'm going to take the video game from you. After a while, it was like, okay, so what, take the video game, I really don't care, I'm going to do what I want to do anyways. But when you had that rod on you, it was like, oh, no, I don't want to get my boat with me anymore. I think I'm going to listen and do what I'm supposed to do.
So, man, boy, that'd be great to have that conversation. So let me ask you, Portia, were you redirected, or were you under the rod?
I was under the rod.
Do you agree with that?
I mean, yeah, I guess some of the time. I mean, I guess so. I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Did you do the ride with your children, or you did the redirected with your children?
I did the ride with my children until they called the Child Protective Service on me.
Okay.
Because the teacher called me and told me that my son was acting up, and I gave him a spanking, a whooping. He had a mark on his hand, and then she called CPS on me.
And that's where we want to come back to you, Nicole. I need some real understanding to this CPS. I really need some understanding to this concept. Help, not talking as the First Lady of Kingdom Builders, not talking as the wife of Bishop Smith, but just working in the system. This whole reporting when you may have whipped your child. When is abuse, and when is discipline just discipline?
That's a hard line to cross, because society says no spanking at all. Not allowed to spank them at all. What you need to do is give them a choice. Like I said, you put them in timeout, you take stuff away, but you don't whoop them and you don't spank them. You talk to them and you reason with them and try to get them to do what you want them to do. But me personally, I mean, you say don't speak like a first lady. However, at the same time, you got to kind of go with the scripture when it says to train up a child. You have to train them, whatever that means. You have to train them. You have to keep talking to them. You have to repeat stuff. And you mentioned the fact that, you take the rod away. There's a way to rod. There's a way. You don't ever spank a child out of anger. You don't spank them when you're upset. You calm yourself down and you go talk to them and tell them why you're going to give them the spanking. And then you don't spank them with your hands. Hands are a sign of love and affection. I'm going to give you a hug. Never spank with your hands. But if you have to spank, my point of view, you get something. I used to use a comb. Spank them a little bit with the comb, and they'll get the point.
But you're saying you can't do that.
You can't do that in society today.
I'm not talking about what you do. I'm talking about the state. We just heard a young lady say that her child was reported because she spanked her child. So I'm asking you, I'm saying according to the state law, you're not supposed to use your comb or anything, right?
Nope.
So this is where legislation comes in at. This is where, of course, I would have key people on my team to Google the data. I really would like to see, and you that's watching me, I would really like to see what is the data on our children. Did they get better? Did they get worse? Where did this discipline concept come from? Did it really just come from the religious community, or were people doing that way before religion?
Bishop, I remember when I was in elementary school, and I was on, I think it was honor guard or color guard or whatever they called it then, safety, street crossing, and one of our responsibilities was to fold the flag up. Well, me and the guy I was with, we dropped that flag on the ground, and the principal saw it, took the flag in, said he had to dispose of it, and we got paddled. This was in elementary school back in the 60s.
Right.
It was a long time ago.
Right.
But, and then I got home and I got a spanking when I got home, But the discipline back then, it wasn't any different than it shouldn't be any different than it is now. My mom and dad are great parents, and they showed us more love than I got discipline. And discipline might last 2 days. A whooping is definitely going to hurt. But they showed me love the next day and the day after that. But I think there was probably at one time some abuse going on with some kids, and then lawmakers decided we need to change the rules here because of a handful of people that abused their kids. So it did need to change. And I believe that's one of the reasons why a lot of our youth today don't respect authority, because society and laws have ripped and stripped the right for a parent to raise their child the way they should raise their child when they're bad. My kids, I didn't spank them that much. I didn't need to. And some kids might need it more than others. But my kids got it. They got it, And they knew that I don't want to do that again because it's going to make dad, upset, and I'm going to get in trouble and get a spanking. But I showed them love many times.
They call it violence.
And
like hitting begets of hitting. So
yes.
If I'm hitting my child, then that means my child's going to hit. So we don't want that going on.
They call it violence?
Mm-hmm. Corporal punishment. They call it violence. We're teaching them how to hit when we hit them.
Oh, so, okay. So
we're not leading by example.
We're not leading by example. So if you hit your child, that's violent.
Right.
And your child will hit someone else.
Right.
They call that violence.
Right.
Okay. And people like Terrence Todd, I know you're involved with politics and all legislatures. If that is the case, if that is the case, as my wife say, they call that violent. I have a question for you all. And that is, we're not able to discipline our children. But then when they're 16 and 17, you throw them down and you beat them. What is that called? And you beat them because they were not disciplined. Is that right, DJ?
That's right.
So if it's called violent, Nicole, if it's violent that you are not supposed to discipline your children, violence beget violence. So when that child is spoiled, that child not used to authority, and then that child end up getting beat up by a police officer, how is that justified? I mean, I guess that's where my challenge is. William, do you have a take on that, man? What about, you coming up, did you see any of that type of violence in the streets by authority people? Just give me your take on that, William. What you think about that?
I've seen it before. I've had hand-in-hand combat with a couple officers back in the day of me being in high school before I went away. I had an officer that almost shot me. I had officers I had scuffles with and got away from. It was there. I mean, the officers, they were doing it. And then you had officers that really stuck by the discipline. They didn't play the kids calling cops on their parents and talking about child abuse and all that. Like I said, you need to get disciplined. They need to get spanked. And coming from experience, when it came to the point where I had an ultimatum to do this or do that instead of getting a whooping, that you start rebelling against authority figures, and that's what I did. I stayed in a lot of trouble. I stayed in trouble at school because I felt I didn't have to listen. You didn't want to give me an ultimatum. What do I need to listen to you for?
So, without going into anything personal, you don't feel like you have to answer that. Would you see yourself as the raw parent now, or you do what is it called again?
Redirect.
Or you redirect? Yes. Do you redirect?
I do both.
Okay. I really don't know what redirect is. I honestly don't know what redirect is. You got a 4-year-old that just disrespected you. You redirect them by saying, "Don't disrespect me."
Okay, if you have a child that disrespects you, you say, "I don't like when you talk to me that way. That's not okay."
So you putting yourself on the level of the child.
You tell them what they should say. Yes,
okay.
You tell them what they should say.
Okay.
You get them to feel what you feel. It's all about feeling. You want them to see your emotion, how what they did to you made you feel. That way they'll hopefully treat you better the next time.
William had a question.
When I was, and I'll get you, but when I was a child, I don't really know what my parents felt. Because when it was over, I went outside and played. See, I think we really got to deal with this issue. And of course, we're going live now on Portia's phone. So if you're watching us, and one question I do have for you is this, and if Rosetta, if you're watching us, I want to know, is there any type of data that supported when did this whole discipline thing start? What year? If there's any politicians out there, and you can find it for me, and I'll get the data. We'll talk about it later on the show in the future. I would like to know, when did this data take place where corporate punishment was illegal? Because you're right, Doug. I remember at Dudley School, I was paddled by Eugene Lee several times. You had a question, William?
My redirect is like, if my child disrespects me, I'm not gonna lie, tear off in their butt. But like, if you're playing your video game system, you know it's time for bed, and you're not going to bed, I'm not gonna spank you. I'm just gonna take it away from you for a couple days, and you're not gonna play it. You know, and that's my redirection. But as far as if they disrespect me, I'm not gonna have a conversation with them. I'm doing the same thing my mom and daddy did to me. They went upside my head, and that's honestly that's the only way you're gonna learn. Because to me, like I said, once that rod got taken up off me, I felt I had freedom and could do what I wanted to do.
And it seems like redirecting would be more for like older kids than it would be for younger kids. And so, yeah, I agree. You know, if you know your child is or your teenager is messing up in school, and they get home and they want to go to the basketball game, and you know they start maybe acting out about it, you give them a choice. Mm-hmm. You redirect them. My redirection is you can either do one or the other. You know, you can either go to your room and be quiet, or go downstairs and be quiet. That's my redirection because you're not going to the game.
But again, it still falls back on the need for a whole family. It still falls back because you said, Nicole, that you're supposed to make that child feel what you feel, right?
Want to put emotions to what they're doing.
But isn't it fair, and I'm not justifying it, but if I got a single mother with 3 kids, she's stressed out, she's working hard, one of the sons is acting up, you know what she feel? How's she gonna make that child feel that? She feels already stressed up, and now he just tore up the carpet, or he just made a big mess, so now that child, that mama reacts according to what you're saying, she's in violation. Portia, you had a question?
I was just saying, so a single mother is never in a mental state to
Good question.
discipline her child.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. So a single Nicole, go back to what you said. Redirecting means we're supposed to tell the child or let the child know how we felt, right?
That's putting emotion. When you redirect, say for instance, if they're hitting somebody else,
okay,
you give them another choice. No, let's come over here and let's do this instead.
Okay.
Let's come over here and play with this toy, or let's watch this TV, or whatever. You give them another outlet.
Now, what
so
was
they
that
can
discipline
forget about
part
that.
you talking about? That discipline. What was that
Discipline
part?
is like if you're disrespecting your adult,
okay,
per se, you say. The object is not to hit them,
okay,
or to whip them.
Okay.
Is to tell them and talk to them about how what they're doing to you makes you feel, so they can put emotions to it.
Okay, so how does a single mother with 3 children working all day, all night, tell them how they feel?
You would say, little Johnny.
Y'all hear this, y'all? She's getting ready to give y'all the solution. Here we go, little Johnny.
You would say, little Johnny, listen. First of all, you have to calm down and talk to them. You can't be angry. You can't come from a place of anger. But you have to talk to them and say, I don't like it when you talk to me that way. That hurts my feelings, and that's disrespectful. And you might say, you know what disrespect means? When you treat somebody the way they don't want you to be treated.
Is this how you talk to your kids?
When they're old enough to understand. Yes.
To your children?
Yes.
I don't recall.
That's the way society says you're supposed to.
Little Tino, little Tino, you're making Big Tino feel bad.
Now, I do agree with what Nicole is saying to a certain extent, and if that doesn't work, then I think you should go ahead and get the rod.
Yes, Portia.
I understand what she's saying, but for me, I feel like in society today, some of the things that your children do make you angry. It goes above and beyond just being disrespectful. These kids do things, sometimes you cannot believe that they're doing them, or that's your kid doing it. So you do get angry, and then like, where's the calm down point where once I'm calm, I ain't gonna even discipline you because I'm calm now.
But that's the time to do it. When you're calm, say, okay, I'm not going to deal with you right now. I'm upset. Go to your room, and I'll deal with you in a minute. Calm yourself down, then you go and have that conversation.
And I will say that when the difference between my parents and the way that they disciplined me was my father always gave warning. He always gave a conversation, or we always had a talk. And then if I continue to go against whatever he didn't want me to do, that's when the discipline came in. And it was always just with a belt. Now, mother, on the other hand, she didn't talk. She didn't, give you no warnings. It was just getting your butt whooped. And it wasn't just with a belt. It was, like I said, with anything, a extension cord, whatever. And to me, it was times that I probably needed to get my butt whooped, I'm sure. But then it was some whoopings that I got, to me, wasn't what I did wasn't that bad to deserve getting my butt whooped with an extension cord.
So let me talk to you that's listening to me and you that's viewing us, and it's really important that you my email address will be on the screen throughout the program. That's Kingdom Builders Worldwide 2@gmail.com 2@gmail.com. But I really would like to get your feedback, because this is the challenge. I've even heard through research, through experience, that part of whipping is part of slavery. So you got one thought of people saying, well, no, you shouldn't whip your kids, because that's just like what the slave masters did to the slaves. So they're taking that piece, and then you representing the state, the government, who's deciding what is harsh and what is not harsh? Personally, I've never put my hands on my children, but they were disciplined with the rod. But the rod wasn't like a bat. So, I think we need to try to start deciding what are we doing, but we need to share with the audience the purpose of discipline is to correct.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's what the Bible tells us. It's not to hurt. It's not to mentally scar you. So if that is happening, I still feel the Bible has the great and the best solution. I don't know I don't know how to redirect and justify scripture. And so there's other preachers out there, and you want to send in a thought, hey, email me and I'll be glad to bring you on the show, and we can just talk about this, because this is a serious matter, because the truth is our children is off the hook. They're off the chain. Something is wrong, and we need to come up with that. So Nicole, because of your position, when you have a child that's passing out and cutting up, do you eventually just expel them? Is that what y'all do? Is that the ultimate goal? You got to go?
No, that's only in the worst case scenario where I would send them to the principal. But if I have a child that's falling all over the floor, what I would do is let them finish. Let them have their fit. And when they calm down, then we can talk about it, because you can't talk to them when they're emotional. And
but are they not affecting the other children?
As long as they don't hurt anybody, they're fine.
They're not distracting other children?
They really don't. Honestly, the kids kind of go play. Very seldom do they really, just very seldom they do.
If you're trying to teach a class,
mm-hmm.
and you got little Johnny cutting up, disturbing your class, you let him keep doing that?
I will move him from what I'm doing.
Okay.
He has to go over his area so he can finish doing whatever he's doing, having this little fit. I'm not going to let him stay right there in my area.
Portia.
He would have to go.
Okay. Portia, you had a question?
So when Kingdom Builders gets established, are you going to have parenting classes? Because that would be a good thing to have, because, it's hard raising these kids, and a lot of families are one-parent families, so parenting classes would be a thing to implement, to help some of the single parents and even couples to raise their children properly and learn how to do what you're talking about, calm down and proper discipline for your children.
Yeah, definitely, because I think that is a component that's necessary, because it is. Parents are stressed out. They're doing the best that they can, with what they have. So having a resource to go to for help is definitely something we were looking to doing.
So let's talk more about the church, y'all. Let's talk about, we're moving back. The project's supposed to be done August 31st. August 31st is the target deadline where we're supposed to close the deal with the city of Battle Creek. And we have some programs, DJ, that we're planning on opening. The first thing is we have a full gym. And you and I at one time referee. I believe you still do that at times. Let's talk about the 24-hour gym program we would like to provide in the city of Battle Creek.
Well, of course, the gym is a really big plus and a convenience for Kingdom Builders and for the community. And for $10 a month, someone can join. A year, excuse me, $10 a year. $10 a year. You can come and be a member of the facility and have use the benefits of the gym. There's a lot of things you can do with that. You can hold tournaments, camps for kids. There's things that go on all summer long. Basketball's 10 months out of the year with AAU and different things, and I can see Kingdom Builders getting involved in throwing some camps, bringing some of the old Battle Creek Central stars back and putting on some camps for the kids and showing them some fundamentals.
Awesome. And so I want everybody to understand that, yes, we're talking $10 a year. Allow you to have access to the gym. Now, the gym may have different programs going on. Like if there's a tournament going on, obviously you can't just jump into the tournament. But with that $10 annually, you have access to come to the gym at any time. That is our way of giving back to the community, at the same time able to cover the staff for security and a director. So that's an awesome project that we're doing. We're also planning on having the daycare center, where we want to offer services to our children and to even our parents. Also, we're planning on having, we're going to name it the Georgia Howard facility, where we're going to have a banquet hall to allow family reunions and birthday parties. How you feel that, Doug, will help our community? Right now, many people are going to other places and paying a nice fee. But how you think that'll be a need for our community? What you think about that?
I think there's a great need for that. And, there's always, people are always getting married, people are always having parties, and there's places in town that are very pricey, nice but pricey to go to, and some areas are outside of people's reach, I guess. Out by the hotels, they make a lot of money hosting or having different events, in the ballrooms. I think it'll be good for the community to have that for them. Yes,
awesome.
Definitely.
And we're also going to have what you call a rehab center. We're very concerned about people that struggle, that they have addiction. Obviously, we're going to have professional people to help us out, those who have a passion and considerate, those that care about people. But I believe as long as there's breath in your body, there's hope. I don't think there's no one, and I hear it all the time, and I'm just not one of those people. I don't think no one is that far gone. I'm a believer in that. I will continue to believe that. I don't care what you've done. I don't care how low you've fallen. If God gives you breath to wake up in the morning, then you have another opportunity to be saved. And that's what we want to bring to our community. Nicole, anything else you want to say about just the ministry, Kingdom Builders Worldwide, what we're doing and things of that nature? Anything you want to say?
I'm just really, really excited about what God is doing in the ministry. And I feel that it's going to be a place where everybody can come and feel welcome as a family. You can come, you can have conversations, different activities going on, fellowship, and it's a place where jobs will be created, all kind of stuff. And I just feel like it's just going to be a place of refuge for people. It's very needed here in the community, and I'm just really excited, like you said, that if you, nothing is beyond, if you're alive and you're living, anything is possible. We can do all things through Christ. That's why Christ is here, for we can be able to do all things through Christ. So I'm excited and I'm motivated, and I appreciate your vision for the community at Kingdom Builders. You always has been a visionary person with great ideas to actually help people, not for gain, but to really help. You have a heart for the people, and I can appreciate your heart, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Amen. Callie, what you have to say to the ministry and how we're going to touch the fabric of the hearts of the people, and just encouraging folks to support. We have about 25 days left. What would be your appeal? How would you encourage the people to give and support this vision of the programs? We're asking you to give to support the programs. We're not asking for money to purchase. The purchasing is already covered, but we're asking you to help us purchase the funds so we can do the programs. Callie, what kind of appeal would you give to the audience today?
I would say that, everybody, especially in Battle Creek, is always complaining about, we don't have anything. We don't have anything. And a lot of times when something is going on, then it's not, doesn't have the security and a lot of drama. But with the programs that we have, it's going to be beneficial and effective for families in the city of Battle Creek. And with the love that we give and that we show and we express at Kingdom Builders, I'm too excited about going forward and I'm looking forward to what God is going to do in the city of Battle Creek.
DJ, how would you appeal to the people of giving, supporting? Your last couple of words. How would you appeal to the people?
I would say this is for them. You're investing in yourself when you invest in Kingdom Builders.
Good.
And help us. Here you're helping us help you, pretty much. That's what it is. A lot of different programs going on that the community needs, and we're here. We're here for you.
Again, I just want to say to all of you, I want to thank y'all for my guests, my wife, of course, DJ, Doug, all those in the audience that talk to us. I always like to end. But before I end, just give and support the program. We're not asking you to give money to help us purchase the building. That's been taken care of. But the programs, youth programs, hey, I don't care where you are, what you're going through, what you've been through. The God that I serve is well able to help you. I always close by acknowledging my mother because I connect with my history. Mother Georgia Lee Howard Perry. And my father, the great late Hugh Smith Sr. I acknowledge their parents because without them, my grandparents, there'll be no parents. My mother's side, Ruby Elizabeth Perry and Leo Dale Perry Sr. And then my father's side, Edward West Smith and Gussie Smith. Always connect, for connection is hope. And if you are in the city, if you are ever on Riverside, come and be with us on Sunday morning at 11:30. I am just grateful that this is bigger than Kingdom Builders. This is bigger than a local church, a Pentecostal church, an apostolic church, a Baptist church. It's bigger than that. It's about people coming together, helping each other out. Even this program, I got two great brothers that attend another church. Great pastor, Macedonia, great people, Brother Michael Campbell, Carl English, just good people. That's what this city is all about. I got Brittany working with the cameras, I got the children. Listen, we are a family. Battle Creek, Michigan. We a family. We want to come together. We want to put denominations and all those thoughts aside, and let's accomplish helping people. We can talk later about the religious beliefs, but right now we got people dying in the streets. We have homeless people sleeping under the bridge. We have drug addictions. We have young men shooting each other. We have families falling apart. Listen, y'all, on a Sunday morning, I don't believe in the black community we have a total of 3,000 people going to church. What'd that tell you? All the churches in the city, we also need to combine at least one time a year where everybody come together and fight the devil. Because greater is he that's within us than he that's in the world. We're going to pray together. We're going to pray for the city of Battle Creek, and we're going to pray for all of us and all of you. Dear God, I thank you. I thank you for this program. I thank you for this program. Give us understanding, God, to do thy will, and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
AccessVision, your voice, your community.